It's here. It's football time. See, I didn't like it. I don't like it. Let's try something different. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's week 2, part 2 of our episode here at Too Much Fantasy Football. It's Brian, it's Brennan. We're here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. How we doing, man? One day closer to football.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday Night Football, it's right around the corner here. It starts in, I don't know, a few hours. Devon Chan hopefuls are all excited because he's going to play, and as someone who has a lot of stock in him, I'm really excited as well.
As someone who has a lot of stock in Wright, I'm kind of hoping he gets to play as well.
No, I hope he stays off the field the entire time. It's not his year yet. Next year, when I don't own Devon Chan, he's all yours.
We can share the field. Clearly, he showed that he can share the field with Mostert, but
This is true.
It hasn't happened quite yet, so fingers crossed, folks. Before we open it up with the Seahawks-Patriots game, do you want to fill us in with a little practice report?
Yeah, so for the East Coast so far, T Higgins is a practice again. It looks like he's probably not going to play again, and I don't blame him. Without a contract, I don't see him going out there unless he feels 100% ready to go. Jordan Addison, who I think a lot of us aren't probably leaning towards starting anyways, he hasn't practiced again. Sounds like he'll be out, and then Dalton Schultz is also not practicing again, so I just think a lot of those only ones that might have been startable was T Higgins, but other than that, that's the only injury we have so far. The West Coast, they're about to go start practicing, so hopefully Kenneth Walker rolls out there and a few other guys.
Yeah, we are recording this several hours before the Thursday night game, but we're hoping to catch the last bit of that practice report. So if we catch anything here while we're recording, we'll throw it out there. But in the meantime, let's head to New England. Oh, I've never said that and enjoyed that statement ever. Ever. But unfortunately, the Seahawks have to go there. They're going to play at it's 38.5 point over-under. Seahawks are favored by 3.5 points. I hope this is a fun game. The Patriots overplayed what we projected. The Seahawks were definitely down from where I had them this year. I thought we were going to get a lot more from those wide receivers. That was not the case.
No, I guess not. And I guess it came out like DK said after the game. They want to feature Kenneth Walker a ton, so it seems like there'll be a more run-centric offense first and then throw the ball. So if Kenneth Walker can't go, then Zachary Charbonnet should be in every lineup because I think he'll get a boatload of carries. I still am starting DK. I still think DK is a bounce back week. I know he went against Surtain, and Surtain just covered him all day long, gave him nothing to open. I know he's going against Christian Gonzalez, a really good corner there too, but I expect it to be a little bit more fluid for him. I like JSN this week as well. I think JSN has a bounce back week. The only one I'm really leery on is Tyler Lockett. I don't think I plan on starting Tyler Lockett until I see something more of a consecutive basis with him.
That's the hard part. We saw him get work this past week, so he did something enough to take away from JSN. I really hope we saw JSN play exactly what he did his rookie year, so that's not promising. I'm willing to flex these two players in deep enough leagues, but DK, yeah, I did see he was had the highest percentage of his routes under that were shadowed. 96% of his routes were shadowed, and obviously Surtain the highest, or I guess the highest paid corner now that Ramsey had to come in.
Ramsey wants a word with you on that one.
Mm-hmm. The wiener measuring contest there. He whipped out the ruler. But nonetheless, yeah, DK should have a bounce back week. I hope we can see him flirting with those RB or wide receiver 1 numbers. Touchdown, give me 2, just a bounce back after last week. That's what we're hoping for. Do you like any of the tight ends in this game? Probably not Fant. Not a fan.
No, I don't like Fant. I mean, Hunter Henry, I don't know what he did. I think he was pretty quiet last week. I know we all kind of really expect him to have like a veteran presence. I just low over under. I'd rather pivot towards something else in that regards. The only person I'm really starting with confidence on the Patriots side is Ramondre Stevenson. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying he's like a sell high candidate right now. I don't see that the case. It seems like he is going to be the workhorse back, and they want to continue that way. So I mean, if he's going to get as many touches as he did last game, give me all of that every game.
Yeah, I don't see anything changing for this team. We'll see Drake May come in at some point this season, but I imagine it's going to be closer to the midway point or the back 9 of the season. So nothing's going to change with his role unless an injury hits, and we're not betting on that, or at least I don't anyway.
Yeah, I don't either.
Neither one of these quarterbacks. Geno, I guess you could flex against the Patriots. I'm still not sure what this defense is. Are they just do they overplay to the moment, or are they actually good? I feel like still up in the air for me.
I think I'm not starting Geno. It's a low over under. They're going to New England. It's just like I think like this could be an upset game in some fashion. I just I do expect them to bounce back a little bit more better on the offensive side, but I'm probably would rather start other options besides Geno. I know I like Geno's weapons, obviously this game, but I just don't think this is the right game for me to start him over somebody else.
We're going to talk about the Commanders here in a little bit, but Geno or Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones, just because of the rushing upside.
I just wanted to hear you say it. I'm in agreement with you, but it's gross. All right, we're going to the next. Who's winning this one?
I think Seattle should win this one, and I'm going to stick with Seattle.
Patriots took out a lot of Survivor leagues last week.
Did.
We'll see if they'll do it again this week.
Yeah, they did.
All right, next one. Let's put the timer on the clock because someone got away with no timer last time. Oh, and it's boop. There we go. Jets and the Titans. Is this game going to be good? Doesn't look like it. 41.5 point over-unders where we're looking at. Jets are favored by 4 points. Titans looked good. At least the defense looked good all game last week. The offense looked decent, or it was disguised to look decent, but they came to earth real fast. Can the Jets bounce back here?
I think this is the perfect bounce back game for the Jets because Will Levis just still shows just boneheaded mistakes like that, throwing the shovel toss to the sideline pick. I don't see him breaking these bad habits. I just don't. It's
Carson Wentz never did.
Yeah, and the Jets still have a good defense. It's just San Francisco is a good team, and so they just found a way to run the ball the entire time and just run it down their throats. And I expect the Jets to have a bounce back game. I like Garrett Wilson to lock this game. I like Aaron Rodgers to have a good game. I like Breece Hall especially in this game. I'm not really big on Allen Lazard. I know he's been, featured a little bit. I probably would just stay away a little bit. I think Mike Williams might start to get a little more run in this offense. What about you? What do you feel about this Jets side?
I mean, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, we're starting for sure. Rodgers, it's a scary start, absolutely. I don't have the stones to start Lazard, or at least even in the deeper formats that I'm in. I can't find one that I'm willing to start him. Mike Williams, I need to see him go out there and do it. I need to see that his legs are back there. He's going to present it, but he's still going to be streaky. So if he comes back this week, it doesn't really mean that he's a go next week, though. Conklin, I think that's where we need. No, I'm kidding. Scratch it on the tight ends.
It is not a thing for Aaron Rodgers and tight ends. It's never going to be a thing.
Fine. Running backs for the Titans, though. Pollard, Spears. We saw Pollard kind of run away with that job.
I mean, it's Pollard. I guess the lying meter for the head coach for the Titans is at an all-time high because it's not 50-50. It was definitely Pollard all the way. I'm still starting Calvin Ridley. I still think he is. I mean, he obviously got paid. He still led the team in yards last week. I'm not starting D-Hop still. I just, he still doesn't look 100%.
Droppable.
Yeah, I don't know. Droppable maybe. I think he's just not 100% healthy. And then I'm not starting Will Levis. I think he's a defensive streamer I'd rather start against.
I'd keep Spears on my bench before I kept D-Hop, I think, is how I'd look at it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one, but I'd still try to find a way to keep D-Hop too.
It looks so gross. It looks absolutely gross. I hope Levis can smack a little of that mayonnaise cologne on, maybe he can come back a little bit. Who's winning this one?
I think the Jets win, but the Titans cover the spread.
That defense looks better than I would have guessed, the amount of free agency acquisitions they had. Next game. You ready for it? I am.
Yep.
Oh, it's Danny Dimes time. Yes, he's coming to the show. We're so excited. It's him and Jaden Daniels of the Commanders. This game is a 43-point over-under. Washington's favored by 1.5. Both these quarterbacks look to be startable in this one. These defenses are trash.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the Giants side. So, I'm not starting Danny Dimes in any way possible. I just think there's a possibility. For DFS, I'd probably lean towards that, but not in redraft or even dynasties. I'd try to pivot elsewhere. I like Singletary for like a low end RB2. He was on the field a lot. Malik Neighbors, he had 5 receptions for a little over 50 yards. I think it starts to improve this week. And then another name that you can kind of monitor is Wan'Dale Robinson. The dude got a ton of targets. I think he's gonna
12 targets.
Yeah, so like I think he's definitely gonna be featured in this offense. It's someone definitely worth picking up. So that's all I really want out of the Giants side so far.
I have to agree there. Yeah, Neighbors, I hope this is a game where he can really blossom and show what he has to showcase, because Daniel Jones doesn't have a lot to go against with the Commanders. They're not rushing after him, so he shouldn't be too nervous, and the secondary is not very good either. Daniel Jones, I do think he is a flex-worthy quarterback. If Watson was in the mix for you as one of your QB2s, if you have some of these guys with a bad matchup, I think you can do a lot worse with Daniel Jones, because he has shown that there is a rushing floor. Hey, and he bounced back last year. I'm pretty sure last year he had one of the worst games opening against the Eagles, and then next week he was QB1. So possibilities are open. I think that that's gross. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, it's like you saying that sounds awful. Kudos to you for thinking that, though. The Commander side, Jaden Daniels. I mean, I said here that he has the floor to be a QB1, and I mean that rushing ability is crazy. So I still think he's definitely startable in all redraft leagues. I like Brian Robinson a lot. He clearly is meshing well with this offense with Cliff Kingsbury. Terry McLaurin, where are you at with him? It's a little interesting.
I think this will be the last week that I'm willing to start him without too much hesitation. After this, he's definitely going to be on the bench, and then it's going to be matchup dependent on whether or not we bring him up, because Ertz is the only one that I feel honestly confident in starting, knowing that he's going to get something just with how bad tight ends are. I don't like any of the other wide receivers. Eckler's in the mix, not enough to be start worthy, but enough just to absorb enough targets. I don't like where McLaurin's at right now.
Yeah, I don't either. And Luke McCaffrey seems like he's getting a lot of praise right now in that offense, so it might be something to monitor too. But who do you have winning this game?
I'm going to take the Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels gets it done.
I like the Giants.
Nice. Imagine that, folks. We're on the opposite side. Brennan just doesn't like to win, so he's got to go against me every now and then. I completely understand. It gets a little boring here. This one should be easily to agree on. It's the Bengals and the Chiefs. Oh, come on. Oh, wait, nope. That's not what we're doing. We skipped one. Steelers and the Broncos. Steelers and the Broncos. There we go. It's just such a gross game. Nobody wants to talk about it because it looks like Justin Fields is back in action, taking over. Broncos looked like a pretty tough defense with his just elusiveness. Is he in consideration for you?
I wouldn't mind it. If you had other options, if you were stuck with Caleb Williams or something like that, then yeah, I don't mind pivoting towards Justin Fields because we know his rushing floor is crazy, and obviously if he gets a chance to leave the pocket, it could go from 10 yards to 50-yard run for a touchdown. So I don't mind it. Steelers side, the only one I'm really starting is George Pickens. The dude looks QB proof, so I'm all in on George Pickens.
I'm willing to throw Najee Harris out there as a RB3 flex play. Where you took him, you might
have no choice.
Yeah, you might not have a choice. The amount of running back injuries that are starting to kind of pick off just there in the early ways. If you kind of followed up with as Najee as your RB2, RB3, I get it if you have to play him. He could fall in the end zone. Any given week, he can fall in the end zone. And Arthur Smith, the utilization on Najee was higher than he had at all last year. So that at least is promising for him.
Hey, Brian,
yeah. What's up?
Cordell Patterson still exists. So
oh, come on. He's going to vulture a touchdown or two, but not this week.
I hope not. On the Broncos side, so we didn't report, but Audric Estime, the rookie, he actually did get some run last game, or it was kind of crazy, but he's now on the IR, so he's out for 4 weeks. So it's now just Jaleel McLaughlin and Javonte Williams, and I thought for sure Sean Payton would like to have a full featured back, and that wasn't the case. So I'm really not sure about Javonte Williams. The only one I guess I'm really wanting to start, which I'm really scared about, is Cortland Sutton. 12 targets is 12 targets. So They're trying to make him, be the wide receiver one. It's just a matter of Bo Nix getting him the ball accurately, I should say.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's the scariest part of this because I think McLaughlin needs to be owned, just the role that he could play as a pass-catching back in this offense. I think there's something to it, but goodness, Nix, you have to be functionable. You got to get that offense across the 50 and at least threaten in the red zone. Sutton had a lot of targets, so I think you can kick him back out there if you need him. Najee Harris or Cortland Sutton?
Cortland Sutton, just because of the targets.
Yeah. That's the hard part, too. What did Nix throw? 42 or 48 passes last week?
Dude,
we look at
48 passes for what was it? It was for sure under 200 yards. It was
yeah. A, you're not going to win when you throw the ball that many times. And B, you look at Valet, whatever, the rookie, the 26-year-old rookie. 8 targets, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, that's still less than 20%.
Yeah.
And ideally...
Who do you have winning this game? I think the Steelers win. I just think they eat up Bo Nix.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I think so too. Watt had just a career day the other day, and that's how they're going to win.
Broncos left tackle got injured too. Bowles, I think is his name. I think he got injured too. I'm sure he might be practicing. I'm not sure. I just know he got injured in that game. So that'd be really, really bad if JJ Watt's got a backup tackle he's going to go against.
You can have 2 tackles on the same side, and JJ Watt's still just kind of breezing right past those fellas.
Yeah,
it's wild. All right, now, you impatient self. Now we can come to this game. Jeez, I'm sorry, folks. He was pushing hard, and I was pressured into it. Bengals at the Chiefs. This game should be great, right? Maybe not. 48-point over-under. Kansas City is favored by 5.5. Opened up at 6, so it has moved a little bit. Despite T Higgins probably not playing. I know most of us saw the video, Joe Burrow and the water bottle thing. How much... He says he's fine. He says he's good. Do we trust him?
Yeah, so I've had wrist surgery before, and I do understand that motion of constantly moving it, just because it's just I don't know, it's something in your head that makes you think it'll lock up out of fear. So that doesn't really bother me. It's the breakdown of the game. There's a clip out there where it's 3rd and 15, and he had 2 guys going basically a hitch go route, and he just dumped it off when they basically had one-on-one. It was a perfect throw to them. So I just don't know if Joe Burrow's still trying to figure things out with this offense without their offensive coordinator. I am only starting Jamar Chase, Zach Moss, and I don't even know if I want to start Joe Burrow, to be honest, because Kansas City defense is really, really good.
It really is. Joe Burrow or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Joe Burrow or Justin Fields?
Joe Burrow. I'll give the benefit there.
Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence is
Cleveland
playing.
Still has a good defense, so I go Joe Burrow there.
Alrighty, I guess that's fine. What about... No, that's too much. I'm going crazy here. We're getting too wild here.
Yeah.
I do agree. That's why I don't like Joe Burrow's price. One of these guys, I wasn't a fan of this year because you're drafting him as a starter, but he's almost, he falls in that streaming category. He doesn't have that rushing floor to kind of always hold him up there through these bad matchups, and that's what we're looking at here is a bad matchup for him. Moss will start, Chase will start. On the other side, Rice I'm starting, Pacheco I'm starting, Mahomes I'm starting. Where does Worthy sit for you?
I mean, man, he got very little targets, but you just see the talent, and you just kind of you kind of got to start him. Mentioning this, I think we mentioned it last show, but I just want to see where you're still at. Xavier Worthy or Amari Cooper?
Oh man. Ooh, if I'm the dog, I'm taking Worthy. If I'm competitive, I'm taking Cooper.
Xavier Worthy or Zay Flowers?
Oh, Xavier Worthy.
Okay. All right.
Zay Flowers just doesn't excite me.
Does Travis Kelce eclipse 5 receptions in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've heard Taylor Vision. I checked it out. I saw she is hopping on a plane. She'll be there this week.
All right.
That's at all points good.
I'm assuming we both have the Chiefs. I'm assuming we both have the Chiefs winning this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do they cover the spread, though? And I think they do. I think they beat them by a touchdown.
I think they do too. I think Patrick Mahomes doesn't get very many opportunities where he can embarrass Joe Burrow, and I think this will be one of them.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next game. Bears at the Texans. This should be a better game than originally anticipated. I feel like just this Bears defense showed that they are top 5, top 10 in the league for sure. And the Texans offense showed that they are top 5, top 10 in the league. So, rock, a movable object. What's that whole thing? Which one's going to move here?
I like the Texans a lot, and until Caleb shows something that's like worth a damn, I'm fading him endlessly. Like, besides DJ Moore, who are you starting confidently on Chicago?
No, that's the list.
Okay, just wanted to see where you were.
That is the list. Odunze's got his issues. Keenan Allen's banged up. Caleb Williams is a rookie. Cole Kmet is getting outsnapped and outrouted by Gerald Everett, like deep enough league, but no, we're not touching anything out here outside of DJ Moore.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with the whole Chicago side. Like DeAndre Swift is like flexible. He was on the field a lot. So it makes somewhat sense. Like, I don't mind him in a flex spot, but that's really it. It's DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift, really.
Swift, I can see him flexing him more this week with the injuries to the other wide receivers. Just we need pass catchers. And the Chicago's depth outside of the top 3 guys, clearly it's going to be nothing. So DeAndre Swift might get a little bit more of a nod for me this week just in the situation. But on the other side, Stroud, Mixon, Collins, Diggs, Dell.
I don't even know if I want to, like, the Diggs thing is really weird because, like, he got 2 touchdowns, but, like, our secondary's so bad, and, like, Chicago actually has a decent secondary, so, like you're going to start Diggs, obviously, where you took him. Like, you kind of have no choice, but, like, just be mindful when he comes back in this game. He only has, like, 3 catches for 14 yards, and it's just really nothing, so.
He had 9 air yards in that entire game. The other 2 receivers, one had 106 and one was 115, I believe. So, he's a touchdown guy. He has been his whole career. And coming into this, that was kind of a high possibility, I thought, for him, that he can vulture in some touchdowns. But at the same time, Cortland Sutton was a double-digit touchdown guy last year, and he still finished outside the top 30. So I think Diggs could be more of that kind of role player for the Texans, where he's more valuable to the team than your actual fantasy team. But at this point, you still got to start him, probably flexing him until you know more about the rest of your team.
Yeah. It's a pretty simple game, man. I think Texas rolls right through them. I think Caleb struggles immensely. I think D'Amico Ryans makes sure he shows a lot of, disguise plays that eats at him because, like, I just don't think what he did in college is transitioning well so far, and I think he needs to figure that out soon. It's just not a good defense to go against Texas, though, to figure that out.
Yeah, man. I have half a mind to say this game's going to hit the under just because these 2 defenses terrorizing these 2 quarterbacks. CJ Stroud had a couple of screw-ups where the Colts it fell in CJ's favor, and would have drastically changed the outcome to that
like
game.
Like a heel out of bounds, a ticky-tacky holding call. Yeah, it's just like... There's like CJ Stroud's like, I think he's a great quarterback, but he's not immortal. Definitely. He does show some flaws, so... And
that's what I worry. Joe Burrow got put on this pedestal after what he did there initially, and look at him now. Like, people just toss him off to the side because he's not this bright shining thing that he gave us at one point. He's just kind of going through a rough period. So, CJ Stroud, I hope he falls to earth a little bit so they don't put him too high up on this, because you put up too high on a pedestal, that falls. It's a bitch.
Yeah.
Next game we have Falcons and the Eagles.
Bird game. This is also going to be a bad game. No, what? I'm just saying this is also going to be a bad game. Sorry. We'll start with Atlanta. Where are you at with Kirk Cousins?
Oh, God. I knew that the season was going to start off rough because of these 2 matchups, but, like, overall it gets so much better. But just the reports that he wasn't moving at all. Jake, you'd see wasn't moving at all, but, like, his plant foot, he wasn't digging into that. It scares the crap out of me. Drake London, I think he's a great buy candidate after this week, maybe even before this week if you can get him cheap enough, just because brighter days are ahead, but it's gross out there.
Yeah, I think for all of us that had hope for Drake London and Kyle Pitts, it's going to be really, really rough until they fix this quarterback situation because, like, he looked very uncomfortable, and I think Michael Penix might be starting sooner rather than later.
Oh, don't say it. They wasted $100 million, didn't they?
After week one, if that's our analysis, yes, I would fully agree they wasted $100 million for sure. I'm still starting. You're still starting Drake London. You're still starting Bijan. Bijan seems to be QB proof no matter what. Kyle Pitts, you're still starting because obviously he found the ball in the end zone. So he was tight end 3 last week, if I'm not mistaken, or tight end 4. He was still tight end 1. So, on the Eagles side though, this should be a pretty interesting game. I mean, Devonta Smith, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert. Even I like him this game too. That's about it where I have for the Eagles side though.
Which is nice. I enjoy that they keep it consolidated for us. Just a handful of guys that you're willing to play, and outside of that,
don't worry about it. Go with it.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts, you're hoping for the touchdown again. What I was so excited about was Kirk Cousins' accuracy and his deep ball, and that's what I thought that Drake London and Kyle Pitts were really going to run their season off of. So if he really can't push off, like as we're seeing, then these pieces are not going to. Just the price that you'd pay for him, they're not going to return value. So I'm hoping he's just a little gun shy the first game, going out there, a little jitters. I'm sure that there's some fear. We saw in the quarterback video or whatever it was, his kid's hopping on his Achilles and freaked out. Maybe, hopefully that it's just a little nerves. But if he can't get that together, I'm very, very nervous for the Falcons.
What happens after week 2 and it's the same dud game like it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think he gets a month.
Okay. Oh, okay. Would you trade Drake London away? Would you start selling those pieces for a lower, if someone offered you Zay Flowers for Drake London?
Probably not. I'd
so
still go on.
You still hold Drake London?
Through this game, I would. I'd probably go 3-4 games. At that point, the price, you're not going to get anything in return. But at the same time, I don't think you're going to get anything comparable now because he was an overpay. He was an overpay in drafts, and everybody who took him most likely knew that. So I think that's where I'm sitting with this. It's rough, but I think I'm going to die with the Falcons. There's so much upside with them. I don't want to let that go.
All right.
What about you?
If he has another dud game, I'm looking to move off really quickly and just say, my only concern is that if Atlanta grows a brain and just says, this Kyle Pitts or this Kirk Cousins thing ain't it. We have this guy we drafted in the 9th overall pick. Everyone looked at us like we were fucking crazy. Might actually work out for us. So,
they've got a backup plan. They've got a backup. Fingers crossed. But I hate to see if it's not Kirk Cousins. I was rooting for the guy. We skipped the Rams and Cardinals at some point. I don't know how, but we're gonna throw 60 seconds on the clock. Let's break it down. Stafford. I'm streaming. Kyler, I'm playing.
Yes.
Cooper.
James Cook, I'm playing. Kyron James Williams,
Cook,
I'm playing.
Yep. Cooper Kupp, maybe.
Cooper Kupp, yes. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Might have only 18 targets this game. Jesus.
Robinson or Johnson?
I'm a Johnson guy.
Receiver.
I like Johnson. Guy? Yeah, I'm a Johnson guy.
Johnson for the season. Robinson, I think, for this week, just because he's part of the offense regardless of how much Johnson will be. So I'm willing to go either one of them as a flexible play. Parkinson, if you're desperate for DFS dabbling, I don't mind that. McBride, you're starting. Harrison, you're starting.
You have no choice to start Harrison Jr., man. Jesus. Does he have a good game this week? Does he clip 17 miles an hour in his route running?
Oh, gosh. I bet he breaks 40 yards. I bet we get 40 yards out of him.
Okay. I'll take the under.
Dortch or Wilson?
Dortch, man. He can't dismiss 10 targets or whatever he had. It was something ridiculous. So
Wilson looks like he could be the red zone threat, but Dortch was looked for often. Very often by Kyler Murray.
Who do you have winning?
Rams.
Okay. I'm going to go Cardinals.
Yeah.
We'll go Cardinals.
Cardinals were not. There was no inspiration by that offense. It was so boring. I was like, is Cliff back in town? What the hell's going on here? No, I'm just kidding, Cliff. Come on the show whenever you want.
I believe in AZ.
All right, Brennan, tell the folks where can they find you? What are we going to be up to?
They can find me on X at FFAMBMulk, and then you can find me in the fantasy group page for Fantasy Football Advice Network. I'll comment on all your dynasty and redraft questions.
All of them questions. You want them, he's got them. Or you've got them, he's got them. You know it, folks. At @too_much_Brian on the Twitter.
Brian.
That's what we do here. Until tomorrow, we're going to drop a little betting DFS dabbling at you. But until then, we'll see y'all later.